Good Wednesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles and dogs and the kid and life and attitudes. Hey, good morning there. Good Wednesday morning there, middle of the week. Hard to believe. Time just keeps a rocking, doesn't it? Whether you're stomping or not, it just keeps ticking. So yeah, hey, thanks for all those that watch my channel. Really appreciate it. Love the comments. And so anyways, hey, here we are. And once again, walking to the barn. And what are we talking about today, right? Creating content is very challenging. And creating content that everybody wants to agree with is even more challenging. It'll never happen. So anybody out there watching my channel, never do I intentionally want to come across that I'm smarter than you. I'm probably not. I'm bigger than you. I'm not. And I want to offend you. That's not the goal of my channel. The goal of my channel is to share all my love and passion for all the vehicles that I own. And I've been blessed to make a nice living working. Actually working and paying for my bills. To be able to enjoy all these nice things. And I just like to share my love of the fleet of my cars. And hopefully I can just share some stories that people are intrigued to listen to and hear. Maybe you learn something, maybe you don't. But anyway, so am I the prophet? I'm not. Yes, I'm not the prophet. Am I the prophet guy? Yes, I'm the prophet guy. So you could say, well, wait a second, the prophet. Yes, today's morning conversation is the prophet. Prophet. Like we have in the biblical passages and readings. Some people know a prophet very well, that you're a certain religion versus another religion. So I thought we'd talk about the prophet and not the Profit money. I thought we'd talk more about the individual that is a godly person, but not only that, is more or less a person that can see the future, knows the future. That's what a prophet, the prophet tells you what the future will be. And guess who pops in my mind when I think about that? Elon Musk. Yes, it's the Elon Musk stories continuing. The Elon Musk Cybertruck. It's the Musk Week. Should I just call it the Musk Week conversations? And what I thought to myself yesterday, after watching the Sandy Munro video with Elon Musk, the personal interview in front of the blessing of the Cybertruck. I think that video should have been called The Blessing of the Cybertruck, with Elon and Sandy sitting in front of it. Oh, look at this here. Why are all the car hoods open? Huh? Interesting. What is the Iceman up to now, right? It's always the adventure. Never ending. And I thought I could do a little talking on that this morning. But yes, I watched that video. It's a great video to watch. Anybody out there should tune in to Sandy Munro. I don't know who the hell this guy is. In all sincerity, I have no idea who this guy is. I never have followed this guy. I never have followed the Elon Musk crowd. I never have followed the Tesla. I've never followed the electric crowd, because what energizes me? An 800 horsepower frickin' 376 cubic inch, 6.2 liter naturally aspirated supercharged motor. That's why, with a badass exhaust on it. So for those people that know Sandy Munro, I guess that's his name. Apparently he's some engineering individual. He's also in the insurance or something. I don't know. Anyways, watching that video, it so made me think to myself that the way their posture was, the way they were in front of the truck, of the Cybertruck, that wasn't the real actual drivability truck, but the gutted out truck that allowed you to see, the architecture of the truck. Those two went back and forth in conversations yesterday or the day before, whenever that was videoed. I don't even know idea. It was probably videoed a week ago, right after the truck was released or something. But they go back and forth in conversation, and Lon, discloses his views and ideas. And so how do we take that? And why would you say that Elon Musk is a prophet? It's because the guy seems to know the future. Or does he? Does he or does he not? So let's go over here and let's continue to use my electric vehicles, the F-150 Lightning truck, the Mustang Mach-E, of the state of times electric vehicles. And it's pretty cool. I actually went onto the Ford F-150 Lightning forum at about 4 a.m. this morning or 2 a.m. this morning, whatever time it was. I can't keep track. And one of the administrators there in the forum released the Ford F-150 sales. Apparently, breaking news, the Ford F-150 Lightning in November, sales were up 43%. Listen to that. Did you just hear that? Sales of the Ford Lightning truck were up 43%. So, wow, what's happening, right? So, I've got the exact numbers in my office. But Ford sold a whopping 4,300 Lightning trucks in November. But hate to be the negative guy, but they sold close to 54,000 of these F-150 trucks. So Ford sold 50,000 more of those vehicles compared to that vehicle. So for the profit for Elon, what's going on? I mean, come on. Did you ever have a conversation with Jim Farley? Could you have told him in so many ways that your business model is not going to work like my business model? I mean, could Elon really say that? I mean, Sandy Munro yesterday, he made some nitpicking comments that he feels the big three are in deep trouble. He feels like this ice age is over. Even Elon Musk said that the big three, they're going to be the story of the horse and buggy. Did you just hear that? Elon Musk, yesterday, talking to Sandy Munro, said the ice age, this guy Iceman, he is going to go the way of the horse and buggy. You know what's interesting is my mother's parents were married in December on the courthouse steps in a horse and buggy. Think about that. Back in the early 1900s. And I only wish I knew the exact date. Was it Christmas Eve? My mother would know. I just can't. I can't remember. Wow. That's over 100 years ago that my grandparents were in a horse and buggy, and that's how they got around. And that's how a lot of people got around. But Elon Musk is saying, hey, Ice Age people, hey, all you Ice Age people, your day of reckoning is coming. Your day of reckoning is coming, and you guys are going to be just like the horse and buggy. And there's somebody blowing off their gun or whatever they do every morning. What's that all about? Taking out the aggravation of being mad? Were they watching my channel or something? Who knows? So for Elon Musk, yes, I'm calling him a prophet, even though the irony of him not making, per se, any profit with Tesla. I mean, come on. Who doesn't know stories of everybody predicting Elon Musk and Tesla was going to go bankrupt? Who doesn't remember these stories? I mean, you guys, was it 2018 or 19? I can't even give the exact time, but Elon Musk was down to the burning wire, burning hour of the candle just about going out, and he miraculously pulled it off. So, but hey, I've already said this numerous times. Does the Cybertruck reinvigorate the electric market? Does it get people to think about, maybe I do want to buy an electric vehicle? And on the forum F-150 Lightning, it's really pretty, it's classic. You got these guys that love these trucks, and so many are dissing the Cybertruck, but so many love the Cybertruck. So it goes both ways in that forum, but it's the same story I've said numerous times here on my channel. What are you accomplishing out of the Cybertruck over this truck? And if you go to the two-wheel drive, real base model, $60,000 Cybertruck that most people think won't happen for a long time. It's already 2025 prediction. Some people think it'll be 2026 or maybe never. That vehicle there, this vehicle here, this is like a 4 point. Okay, Motor Trend Magazine claims it got 4.0 seconds, 0 to 60 in its truck. I thought it was 4.6. Well, the real two-wheel drive base Cybertruck is like 6.1 or 6.9 seconds to 60. It's slow. It's mundane. It has like a 7,000 tow package. It has like a 230-mile range. It's nothing great for $60,000+. You go into the all-wheel drive Cybertruck, and then you're really comparing apples to apples with this vehicle to that vehicle. Then it goes to the all-wheel drive truck is going to be basically within the same region of power. This truck's like close to 600 horsepower. This has 131 kilowatt battery. This has like a 10,000 tow capacity. This has like a 2,000 pound or 1,700 pound, weight load, whatever the numbers are. But the point is, the all-wheel drive Cybertruck will be everything that this truck is, but it'll look different. But then you go to the Cyber Beast, and that's where it goes to the crazy numbers, where it's 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. The thing can haul 11,000 pounds. It has like a 2,400 or 2,100 payload capacity. It's just a badass truck in so many ways. But is it a truck? I was thinking to myself the other day, is it a truck? It is a truck because it can tow a lot, so it can do a lot. So, but it goes back to the same thing that I've talked about numerous times. The person that buys a Cybertruck will be in the same predicament as every other person that buys an electric vehicle. You're going to have huge capabilities and then not so much capabilities. So the point of this conversation is, wouldn't you think that the F-150 Lightning sales would just turbocharge themselves and take off like never seen because of the Cybertruck? Because so many people like me that went to that Montgomery Mall Tesla store in Maryland and talked about the Tesla truck on my Cybertruck on my YouTube channel, and I directly asked a Tesla Cybertruck representative, when can I order mine and when will mine be in? And she basically, in so many words, just like, yeah, good luck. You're not going to get one for many years. So wouldn't you think that would drive a person that would come and buy the Ford F-150 Lightning truck? Or way up for the GM Chevrolet Silverado electric truck, which is coming next year. Or the Ram Rev, the Ram electric vehicle truck, all electric, which will be coming out probably late 2024, maybe early 2025. Because, think about it. What are you accomplishing? What is the profit for Elon Musk? His vision is that this world's CO2 problem, tailpipe emissions problem, carbon footprint problem is a huge problem to the future of mankind and the earth that we are on. That's why he wants to get the hell out of here as fast as possible and go to Mars. Has anybody figured this out? He can make enough money, which he's making a ton of money. There is a profit. There's a profit and a profit there. But here's the point. If Elon has the future and so many people hear the future, then wouldn't you think more people would be jumping on board to get electric vehicles, regardless if it's a Cybertruck or not? But at the end of the day, we go back over here to the Ice Age, and it seems that the profit can't convince enough people to get away from the Ice Age. The profit, in so many ways, is being challenged. And when you talk to Jim Farley, you talk to Mary Barroso, whatever, you talk to Carlos Tavares of Stellantis, you'll hear that this investment of this electric vehicles is very challenging, and it's not going as quickly as they wish it would. And the profit man, Elon Musk, seems to have made it that it would be an easier feat, even though we all know that wasn't an easy feat for Elon Musk, because it's been very challenging for him. And I'm not making fun of Elon Musk. Anybody here thinks I'm making fun of Elon Musk? That's not what I'm doing. I'm just talking in general that we've got a transition of our transportation, of how at one time mankind just walked. We walked, we had to find an animal to get around. Well, we've evolved to where we now have round tires that can be propelled by a engine that can get us places further and faster than ever in mankind's history on the earth, including the jets, and now look at the starships and all that stuff. So for Elon, he's the prophet, because he continues to pound his fist that the electric revolution is going to happen. It's not going to go backwards. It's going to continue to gain momentum. And when you look at Elon Musk, what this guy's accomplishing with the Tesla Cybertruck, SpaceX, Starlink. Has anybody thought about all these Starlink satellites that are floating around in the space right now? Do you know much about Starlink? Do you realize right now, for $120 a month, I can put in my Starlink into my home here. It's a satellite dish, basically. And what's so interesting is this here, and this is, I'm going to talk about this, and you really need to pay attention, because this radiates back to Elon Musk. And I had one person that's a subscriber reach out to me late yesterday that feels like I'm being very anti-Elon Musk. And in borderline, it's kind of like I'm losing you, kind of like I'm just going to get off your channel because I don't like how you're talking about Elon Musk. Well, once again, Sometimes you don't want to hear the reality of what's going on. So you go back here. I've got a satellite dish that I actually painted. I've had numerous DirecTV, years ago, a whole different other name of a company. I've had a satellite dish there. I had a satellite dish over near my shed over there, a little shed that used to be like a little chicken feed thing or something. I don't even know what it was. That's something. How old's that little shed over there? Do you pay attention to that when I walk out in the morning? Hey, I got an old shed. That shed's probably 70, 80 plus years old from when it used to be a farm. But anyways, Elon Musk, he's into the Starlink, which is, he's an internet service provider in so many ways through these satellite, radio waves or whatever you want to talk about. And for Elon Musk, I just think to myself, this guy is dominating everything. I mean, you just have to really start stepping back and realize that this guy is becoming the dominant electric vehicle maker, even though BYD, Sandy Munro, and him had that conversation. Even Sandy Munro asked Elon who is going to be the biggest automotive electric manufacturer in the world. And Elon couldn't answer that question. Because right now, build your dream, Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, investors in that company in China, they're the biggest builder. I've talked about this on my channel. So Elon Musk is not even close to what those guys are doing. So he didn't really want to answer that question. So going back to Elon Musk, the Starlink, he's going to have the control of the internet in so many ways. Elon Musk has control of the electric car market far better than the domestic side, the big three here in our country. Elon Musk has the control of the charging stations. Does anybody realize that Elon Musk has control of all these Tesla charging stations? And he's slowly opening the door up for people to use his charging stations and network. Elon Musk has control in some ways of social media. He owns X now. Elon Musk has borderline control of the space expedition because of his SpaceX. Elon Musk is gaining control of OpenAI. More or less, it is an OpenAI, but it's artificial intelligence where he is wanting to create his own ChatGPT, generative pre-trained transformer, so that he can even be bigger and better than everybody else in artificial intelligence. He is revolutionizing the way that electric vehicles will be made in the future. Yes, did you just hear that? Yeah, Elon Musk is getting ready to build like a Model 2 instead of a Model 3, and he's building out a big factory right now in Texas that's going to have revamped the whole way that these cars are put together. You hearing that, Shawn Fain? Are you hearing, Shawn Fain, Mr. UAW, that you just signed a huge contract, and Shawn Fain thinks he's going to get the Tesla employees to jump on board with unions when there's not going to be union people on these assembly lines of what Elon Musk is designing? I mean, Elon Musk has got the robot. I can't even think of the Omnix or Omnis or something. It's infinite. I can't even keep track of what Elon Musk has control of, and probably even has more control of things we don't even realize. And so I've been using an example here of where I'm going to go with this a little bit later. And then we're going to talk more in depth about what's going on with Elon Musk and his Starlink and X and artificial intelligence. And I can't emphasize enough that I'll look out at this Ford Lightning truck one more time, where Elon Musk is going. That Cybertruck, your Tesla car, his technology is going to overtake you by leaps and bounds like you never even imagined. You're going to be just, it's going to be beyond believable. He's going to have access to every vehicle that's on the road because of his infrastructure of what's in the sky. He's going to be able to download. He's going to be able to activate cars. He'll be able to steer cars. It's freaky. Fly by the wire technology in these vehicles he's getting. Do you realize it's government control? Hello. Elon Musk is building an incredible infrastructure out that should the world governments ever go after his technology and infrastructure, it's going to be world control by governments like never, ever seen. All because of Elon Musk. In so many ways, I say, Elon Musk, it's a double-edged sword. The guy on the one end is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But at the other end, it's the devil in the making, like never seen before in our lifetime. And I think people just step back and listen to what I'm saying and don't get all caught up that you're drinking the Kool-Aid with Elon Musk, because it's dangerous. So here's what I'm going to share with you. This is an industry that I was into big time. The public telephone industry. There's a lot of people on the channel watching this, or the younger generation. They're probably like, what the hell is that damn thing? Have you ever used one of those? That was the dominant use of how we communicate with each other from the 1900s through the early 2000 years, before these cell phones became a dominant product and a more affordable product. Yeah, if you know the real industry, it was 5 cents for a telephone call, then 10 cents and 25 cents. These actually took nickels, dimes, and quarters. When I got in the industry, it was 25 cents a call, and then it went to 50 cents a call. Believe it or not, I got out of the industry and eventually went to 75 cents a dollar because the usage went down so much. But this instrument here, I had to be regulated by the state of Virginia and state of Maryland. Every state I operated my payphones in, I had to be a registered, certified communications operator. I had to file paperwork. I had to pay taxes. And then the federal government, the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. Remember that word, FCC. It's the most dangerous word you could say right now for Elon Musk. The Federal Communication Commission regulated how I could have my payphone operate on interstate calls, interstate calls, and international calls. It was the most fun business that I owned. It was a very dynamic business. And I was actually a board member on the Mid-Atlantic Pay Telephone Association, where we got together on a quarterly basis to have to discuss the challenges we always were faced with the big telecom companies. I was a little guy. Most people remind the C&P telephone, the Bell Atlantic telephone, the Verizon telephone, the AT&T, the Western Electric, GE, goes on and on and on. Very competitive business, great business. Here's my point. The FCC regulated on how much we could charge on our phones, and FCC regulated how much we would receive for an 800 call. This was a total demise to the industry that we were in. So many people started getting these prepaid calling cards, 1-800 calls. These are a lot of people are probably like, what are you talking about? The operator-assisted calls was our most lucrative compensation when people dialed 00, and we got a commission on that length of that phone call. So it was a very lucrative type of business when they used the operator versus using coin money. But here's what happened to us. Over the years, more and more people transitioned out of carrying coin, and they started using the 800 numbers to make phone calls. And so it's kind of like you using your Apple Pay at the gas station or the grocery store where you don't have cash. This is the same concept. So what happened is we would sometimes have 30, 40, 50 calls. Back in the heyday, this is where I really got going of making money in my life. A lot of work. I had like 400 of these things out in the field everywhere, from shopping centers, truck stops, airports, malls, liquor stores, restaurants, federal buildings. I mean, there was just a great gas stations. I mean, it just was a great industry. But here's what happened to us. The FCC governed it where we can only get paid a very small fee for when somebody dialed an 800 number. So if somebody picked up this phone right here and they dialed an 1-800 number, all right, and then they arrest the number, whatever they're calling, because a lot of companies started offering toll-free numbers to call people, and you could call toll-free to get into your card to make a connection and then actually dial the call you wanted. So what we witnessed, because we had computerized reports in these phones, is we didn't get compensated all the time for all the phone calls. It was a huge challenge. And then the FCC said we were only allowed to get 28.7 cents. It was like 12 cents originally. We fought years. Then it was only 28.7 cents per completed call. It was a total. So I witnessed in my telephone business the decline of the coin revenues and the decline of the operator-assisted calls to the 800 calls that totally just ruined the business model because we didn't get paid. There were so many shady 800 cars. These things started proliferating everywhere of just people creating their own little network of 800 cards, and we didn't get paid. So the use of my payphones and the monies we made just continued to go downward and downward and downward and downward. And eventually I knew the future in 2000 that by 2010, this industry isn't going to be an industry. So the reason I'm talking about this in great length is because the FCC controlled this business. They wouldn't allow me to charge a fee. They wouldn't allow me to force a person to put 25 cents in or 50 cents in just to get dial tone to be able to make the 800 call. Some people are like, yeah, but what about emergency, whatever. We try to figure out how do we get compensated for this phone to be activated when somebody picks it up. Hey, there is a key for dog. He is out and about and the kid is up and about. So a lot of information there. But the FCC is the ones that controlled how we got paid. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm not embellishing. I was shorted at least $1 million. I'm going to be like, oh, you're full of baloney. What am I gaining from telling you that one? All right, a timeout on that conversation. Here we are. Here is the Mustang. Here's the Ford product. There's the Dodge product. For me, I was never a Ford guy growing up. And it's just always, when I looked at a Ford motor, look at the Ford motor. Doesn't it just seem to have a lot going on there? And this isn't the supercharged one. This is just the dual air intake, which I love that dual air intake. I can't wait until they open up the air boxes. I just can't wait so you can get an open air box. Will it be better or not? Who knows, okay? I can't wait to get my supercharger. My H-pipe is being delivered today. So you just saw that. Now, let's go up to the SRT 392. Look at that engine compartment. I mean, wow, right? Wow. So, for me, got to get some water here because my a lot of talking this morning. Takes a lot to share all the information, ideas, and views. But I forgot to mention, this is a 5.0. This is the 5.0 302 motor in this car, V8 motor. 500 horsepower car. Go over here. This is the Dodge 392 6.4 liter motor. And once again, look how clean that is. Is that just really clean? And that's something that I think a lot of people don't like about the Ford product. If I went out to my Bronco right now and showed you the same engine compartment, it looks like a rat's nest. So I've always have liked the Chevy and Dodge over Ford because I think Ford just has a lot of gaudy look to it. Here is the supercharger, which is 6.2, 376 cubic inch motor. It's the AKA Demon motor because it has the black heads on it. Those black painted heads give away this is the original Demon motor that was brought out in 2018. And set up correctly, it's an 840 horsepower car. This car is detuned for the ECM, so it's like a 797, 808, whatever it may be. So it has a little less power. But look at the size of this supercharger. Okay, so you're getting ready to witness that to be on this. How does it even fit in there with that crossbar? I don't think the crossbar stays there anymore, personally. I'm not real sure. This is the Dodge Challenger, and here is the Dodge Charger. Now, the guy that owned this car, he seemed to track it. I think this guy tracked it because he put in the B Woody. He put in the catch can that catches oil. He changed out, I think, did he change out the belt? I'm not sure. But once again, here it is, same exact motor as the Challenger. Hey, Ben, hope you're watching my channel this morning. Got a new subscriber out of New York, really cool guy. He reached out to me to take advantage of that last sticker with $20 for the Ice Age TV comments at Gmail. He emailed me and said, hey, Iceman, I love watching your show. And he apparently does the treadmills. He's watching my show. He's at 2 Challengers, wide bodies, triple nickel, a Sublime. And he reached out to share his frustration about the black rear wing getting scratched. And he's going to take the $20 I gave him. And he's going to donate that to the Exotic Animal Foundation that rescues exotic animals. So that was really cool. So, hey, Ben, thank you for subscribing. And thanks for sharing your love of your Mopars and your Kawasaki motorcycles as well. He has some really nice Kawasaki's. So I hope you're having a great morning there up in New York State. So anyways, so for me, when you look at this technology here, think about this. I mean, do I dare walk out to the Ford Mustang Mach-E? I mean, and I've talked about this numerous times on my channel, that here I'm talking about 5.0 liter motor. Here we're talking about the 6.2 liter motor. Then the horsepower. And here we're talking about the 392 485 horsepower motor. Here we're now talking about the rocket motor that is like this is a 2.0 liter motor, basically 2,500 cc's. This is crazy. Do you realize that the 2.3 liter four-cylinder motor is in a lot of the Ford Broncos and Ranger trucks, and the 2.7 liter was in my Ford Bronco Wildtrak editions, which I thought that was a great motor. So here's a guy with a motorcycle with a 2.0 liter motor, 165 horsepower. You know as well as I do, this thing could be taken to the hilt on that. So we go back here. You know, the whole point is when you go to the electric revolution for Elon Musk, for the profit of the electric revolution, what are you going to be talking about? You're going to be talking about kilowatts. You're going to be talking about, oh, my new Tesla has 48 volt architecture. Instead of 12 volt battery, this thing has a 48 volt battery to run all the electronics. My battery pack, it's a 110 kilowatt battery pack. It's an 800 volt battery pack system. I can recharge my car with the supercharger station. I can get 150 more miles like in 15 minutes for because hey, the copper wiring, there's not much copper wiring in this car, and because it's all that new 800 volt technology and 48 volt architecture that doesn't require that heavier grade of wiring because of the way energy transfers energy, and higher output energy actually makes it so you need a less resistant line, which makes it smaller, blah, blah. Just all this. Oh, I have the air induction rear wheel motors. This has 2 rear wheel motors. This only has 1 electric, motor. I mean, wow. You go to the car meet, that's what you're talking about. That's what the Prophet is getting ready to change. The Prophet wants us to totally get away from this and then the creation of a noise, because we all love the real noise of these vehicles. All right, let me get in the office here as we talk more, because I can talk a lot more in depth, but you just run out of time. I'm sure your brain at some point just turns off and says just information overload. And what's incredible is I had to go back to Indian and tell them, hey guys, you guys aren't reimbursing me for my highway pegs or my windshield. So they sent me a letter to sign, and they're short because I put on these highway pegs on the Pursuit, and I put a windscreen like that on the Pursuit. So they owe me another like $500 in monies. And I got the Honda hat on. The Honda hat. It was Honda the first to make the robot something, and they made a motorcycle that could balance itself. I just like the Honda product. So this is just all about me wanting to change it up, give the Honda some recognition. Does it turn into I get the Honda Goldwing? The Pursuit now deal is definitely going down. And do I buy a Roadmaster Indian? I mean, part of me is like, I had the original front Batwing. For those that aren't the motorcycle enthusiasts, the front fairing, they call them the shark fairing, they call them the Batwing. So I've never had the original Indian fairing that is a little cooler, more retro. So they make a really nice matte black 2024 Indian Roadmaster, which would be a really nice bike. But then the Honda Goldwing is such a nice bike, but the Honda Goldwing just doesn't give you that same type of fun factor. So, where'd all my tags go? Well, I just haven't had time with all the work I have on the schedule. Now, somebody asked, why don't you drive these cars more? Well, I run a company. I run a business. And what I live in, I live in trucks because these are vehicles I need to be able to work out of and do work out of. So when I start driving around these cars, it's not as easy to work out of them because I'm constantly on projects. So like this is my favorite truck. For the other cars, it's just when I have light work, but then it's the weather, I just want to drive these cars on 40-degree days. But the other thing is these doggone Mopar products, they're being sought after and they're being stolen. I mean, it's not comforting. I mean, it's bad. In fact, my good friend Mo at Dulles Motor Cars, he claims that last week when he's at a restaurant, come on, Keith, where's your mama? He claims that his car, he got an alert on his phone that had an AirTag on his Camaro. He's at a restaurant late at night, and he gets in his car, and somebody's planted an AirTag on the car, and he literally had to take the car apart, meaning everything out of the trunk, interior. It took him forever. He found an AirTag up in the right-hand side, up here in the fender well, and then took it out. But I mean, wow. So somebody is trying to track his car. So back to the Hellcats here. It's all about, because I'm concerned, as we all know, these things are wanted and somebody will steal them. So if I drive these cars around, it's going to be, I have to be at the car. My kid, I'm concerned about the dog because my kid's not getting the dog in the house. And here I am, this just totally screws up the whole conversations and everything else. You know, he's a dog. You can assume that he's not going to get out. But when I let him in the office, it's going to be a disaster. Oh my gosh. So I don't know what to do. What do? I have to sit here and continue to talk, I guess. So I go upstairs and in my watch the German Shepherd dog. Yeah, is she calling him? Let's see. That'd be a great thing. Is she calling him? No. All right. So I was wanting to go upstairs to my office to talk in more in depth about Elon Musk and basically talk about the challenges that are getting ready to happen to him. I'm just going to take him to my office. It's very unfortunate my daughter isn't calling for her dog. I mean, it's very, very kind of aggravating. You just can't let a dog, run amok. But whatever. So get up there, boy. It's going to be a challenge here for the Iceman. It's never ending. Get upstairs. Come on. Get up there. So, as we get upstairs here. All right. So, hey, watch out, watch out, watch out. Now there's the party begins. The party begins with the dogs, right? Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Yep. Stop it. Chill out, so Kiefer will be jumping all over me. It's going to be really interesting here. Guess I'm going to have to call the kid. Now when I stop this video, it gets much more challenging. So I have to call the kid and let her, because she's going to start freaking out. No, stay down, dude. Yeah. Hey, are you enjoying the channel now? How about that, huh? Let's see if she can hear me. Does she hear as we get the morning going? And anyway, so the prophet Elon Musk, he's got serious challenges. And once again, I think some people are taking this conversation to think that I'm trying to be negative on Elon Musk. And that's not my point. Let's see. So anyways, for Elon Musk, you know what? I think I have one more. I think we do have one more. Just those out there watching, I've got one more sticker, one more $20 bill. So IceHTV comments at gmail.com. You get a sticker and a $20 bill. I got one more sitting on my desk. I don't know if I'm at 20, 21. I don't know. I'm going to get rid of it. The goal was to give out money and help others and to continue to spread the word of the IceHTV. So for Elon Musk, he got caught out on his anti-Semitic comment. And then he told the blasphemy, conversation he told the advertiser to go F himself. So I just felt like, for me as an individual, like, did he have to handle it that way? And that's where people will argue about that. And that's fine, whatever. We need to have difference of opinions. I mean, by all means. I mean, people can call me out, make comments, whatever. It's all good. At least I know you're listening. And at least I know maybe you care, okay? So for Elon Musk, what is going on, I think, is, I wonder, I think he knows this, but at the same time, I wonder that on his X, that social media machine, Twitter's now X, it is so bad of all the negativity and all the hate. It's the hate. And I just scratch my head and think, does Elon Musk really realize that he's in so many ways supporting the hate? But he doesn't want to, but he is, because of that X channel. And for that anti-Semitic statement that a person made that he in so many ways supported, was that a plant? I mean, does Elon even step back and go, somebody that truly does not like me is trying to set me up? Did Elon ever stop and think to himself, is this a person that made a statement for me to get caught up in the moment that ended up creating a lot of backlash? And that's my point this morning about the FCC, which is really very important, that I think even for myself, trying to keep abreast of all these bills and all the government control that's going on in our country, in so many ways, I think more than ever, but other people would disagree with that, but whatever, that's fine. But under this Biden administration, in 2021, they wrote some new legislation, and it's all about this internet, this ISP. And the reason I'm kind of in tune with this is because I was in the public telephone industry that was governed by the FCC. And so the ISP, internet service providers, they're getting beat up on what this administration is saying is that they do unfair business practices. They don't build out internet service to many areas because of demographic areas. So they pick and choose where they know they can make the money and where they probably can't. And there is bills in this country, just like in the public telephone business when I was in that, there was always a supplement to low income in rural areas for telephone lines. So on your bill, you would have a little, excerpt on there. It would show where you're contributing money to the rural areas where the infrastructure just doesn't subsidize. You're subsidizing the rural areas of telephone service because there just isn't enough customers and infrastructure for the telephone company to be able to make any money to maintain that area. So that's basically a co-op of money that's being collected all the time to help provide the ongoing service of telephones. Well, that same thing is now gaining steam in the internet service provider business, where the governing bodies, this city administration, has passed legislation to force these internet service providers, which there's a ton of them out there today, that are going to have to start providing low-income internet service. And the government has a assistance program where people can qualify to help pay a portion of that bill. And that's ongoing right now. In fact, the part of the bill that's been passed or is in negotiations is they're going to run out of money in this subsidizing the internet service providers to low income and demographic areas, that it may run out of money next year if they don't pass a new bill. So this is heavy stuff. It's heavy information. It's very hard to digest everything's going on. But the whole point is that this city administration has created a bill to mandate that these internet service providers start to reprice the way they charge people for your internet access. And of course, you're going to have the private sector versus the government sector argue back and forth on what makes sense. But what people don't know in this bill also is the right for the FCC to govern more than ever and control the internet service. So, and in borderline, in so many ways, the freedom of speech. Yes, if you just, this bill, supposedly, I could be wrong, but my understanding right now is Kamala Harris just put a letter out congratulating the administration for passing a new bill. And let's see here. So, statement by Kamala Harris. Okay, here is a statement by Kamala Harris. I hate to, always having to. I'll take this phone away so you can see it. All right, so statement here. Where'd it go here? All right, so statement by Vice President Kamala Harris. So in this, she is congratulating basically this bill that's been passed to now let the FCC have more control over the internet more than ever, okay? And then you go to another conversation here, another bill. I'm just tapping my personal notes. FCC approves rules to prevent digital discrimination. So now, right here it is. You can kind of see that. If it fades in or not. Kind of takes a second for it to adjust itself. But in this legislation, it talks. Okay, so here is a poser. The Biden administration entire approach to the internet, its entire agenda can be boiled down to one single word: control. Carr said to tying the digital discrimination rules to the administration's efforts to reinstate net neutrality and push social media platforms to combat online misinformation. You can see it today as the Biden administration has called on the FCC to adopt these digital equity rules, a framework that gives the FCC a nearly limitless power to veto private sector decisions. Okay, so to me, is that a direct and borderline hit to Elon Musk, the prophet, the X guy? I think it is. Does this? I responded to one of the individuals that reached out to me about him feeling like I'm beating up Elon Musk, and I tried to do the best I could to word what I felt seemed to make sense, and I even worded in that comment back to him was, don't be surprised if X is shut down. Don't be surprised by next year, election year. I mean, isn't the timing of all this stuff that's going on so unique to potentially Elon Musk? So once again, is the government behind the scenes talking like what I'm talking? That Elon Musk is the prophet. This is the guy that's revolutionizing electric cars. He's revolutionized the space, Mars. He's revolutionized manufacturing. Blah blah. He's revolutionizing artificial intelligence. Behind the screens, this guy is extremely dangerous. How do we control this guy when he has more money than anybody does in the world per se? So wow. I'm going to kind of leave it at that for today because it gets really deep and heavy and long and blah blah blah, and I just get all that. But once again, for Elon Musk, it's very interesting times. I've been intrigued ever since he got into this Twitter and X thing. And like I say, the Twitter and the X thing, it's just really, if you go on there, I don't know how you can stay on there for more than 5 minutes when you just see these people mouth off at each other that support Joe Biden like you've never seen before. And that's what's really weird is it seems like the major theme on X is all about Joe Biden. Like Joe Biden's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I mean, it really does. It's just beyond believable. And you just think to yourself, man, how many people is George Soros paying? And we all know that gets heavy and deep when it comes to the social media and the ideology. And that's where we are, though. More than ever, Elon Musk is. And that's all I meant to mention that. So yesterday in that meeting between the blessing of the Cybertruck is what I call it, when Elon Musk was there in front of Sandy Munro was having to do everything possible to hold back from his aggravation of where this country is. He's a Canadian-born citizen. Elon Musk is from South Africa. And both of them talk about how great this country is, but how this country is totally going in the wrong direction. And they're witnessing how bad it's getting. And so Sandy had to truly hold back his really political views, his ideology views. But he even said, he's like, where is this coming from? Where did this all start? Why did this happen? So you got to watch that video. It's the latter part of the video. And you can see the frustration and aggravation of Sandy, of witnessing what is going on in our country more than ever. And it's terrible. It's bad. And you can see Elon Musk having in so many ways to hold his breath in so many ways. But at the same time, Sandy praised him for telling all these advertisers to F themselves. And he told them that he'll never take his grandkids to Disneyland ever in their lifetime. He'll never, ever, we're hearing there's a lot of backlash against Disney, whatever. All right. Hey, that's it for the Profit Conversations. As always, anybody wants a YouTube sticker, I don't have a lot left. I need to order a bunch more. So somebody still gets a $20 bill. Ice Age TV. Here you go. It's going to be a brawl in the office between Keeper and the boys. Hey, stop it. That's it. I got to let it go. Ice Age TV, comments at gmail.com. Hey, everybody, have a great day. God bless. Stay safe. And what about the Raptor truck? Where the heck's the Raptor truck? Mr. Profit Me that tells us everything can happen tomorrow. God bless. Stay safe.